Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bigfoot Tales. I'm your host D.L.Soucy, and today we're going to jump on the tour bus and head out to one of my research locations, and we're going to take a look at a trackway that I found in the snow. Before we get too far here, I want to caution everybody that I am not definitively stating here that these are psychological Bigfoot tracks. They could just as easily have been done by a human being. I did not see what made them or who, so I can't definitively say anything. What I can say is that they appear to be very clearly bipedal in nature. There is a set of two tracks. Not 100% certain whether it was a person backtracking on itself or if it was two beings that made these tracks. But at any rate, I intersected them in the middle of the trackway. Followed down one leg and it went to a creek, which I wasn't about to cross over, as it was melting. It was about 42 degrees, and the ice was soft, so I wasn't going to go in the creek. But the tracks continued on over the other side. So I went back the other way, and where you see me now is right at the point where the tracks diverged. This set of tracks was done by going down to the river and then coming back up. There's a set of tracks showing in both directions, and then where my tripod is set up, the track diverges and heads westward up into the mountains along the stream, and it's pretty weird, but there is some places there where there's a frozen over access road that hasn't been used in some time. There's a couple of ruts there that are filled with water and frozen over, and whatever it is that walked this pathway walked right through the water as if there was nothing there, just like it was walking on top of snow or dry ground. Nothing bothered it at all. But follow along as I explore the trackway and come to your own conclusions. And again, I want to state here that there's nothing definitive that says that what made this. All I can say is that it does clearly appear to be definitely a bipedal in nature, and the tracks certainly do look human in nature. So, but we'll go from there. We'll get back into it. I got some interesting still shots here. There's one coming up here that you'll see in a few minutes, where I'm actually comparing my boot track to the track that's there. It's clearly much larger, and here it is here. But we have to remember that in snow, tracks grow with age. They're not always the same size. Sometimes they can get smaller, but very rarely. Usually they grow in size, so it's definitely difficult to tell for sure how big whatever it was that made this track was. But let's get on with the tour. Traveling kind of light today. Just thought I'd head out into the one of the locations where I've been tracking this thing that we like to call Bigfoot. Looking for evidence. Just a little backstory on this. I've been this will actually beginning of the 4th year that I've been researching this area, and I spent a lot of time developing theories about habits, and my guess is that whatever this thing is, whether it's human or some sort of wild primate or whatever, I don't know what it is. I'm calling it Bigfoot for now, for lack of a better term. But I've determined that this creature comes into this area about every 30 days or so, give or take 5 days either way. And it's not consistent to the day, just the approximate time. So it's hard to working a full-time job, it's hard to, get things just the way I want them to be so I can actually catch something here. But I came down on the off chance that perhaps I'd, you know, find some evidence, maybe a trackway, and that follows the route that I suspect this creature follows. And believe it or not, I have, this is about the 12th of November, 13th actually, and I should have been down here about a week ago or so, but the weather wasn't with me. Didn't really have the opportunity to get down here. But I'm down here now, and I have found a trackway. It's been snowed over and rained on. The tracks are pretty big. I'll show you a picture here coming up of my footprint to the right of one of these other footprints for size comparison. So it's too hard to tell how long ago it was made or how big the original print was. But whatever this thing is, it followed the trackway. There's tracks going both to the eastern direction and to the western direction, so it went to one end, turned around and came back, and is going back towards where we're headed for now. I actually came upon this in the middle of the trackway for ease of travel. I didn't bother bringing my snowshoes today. I didn't think there'd be much snow left here, but I was wrong. I should have brought them, but I didn't, so we'll have to struggle through. But at any rate, we'll follow this trackway and see what we find at the end of it. The actual dimensions of the tracks here that I'm following were difficult, even to begin with, as to determine how big they were. Some people are going to ask, what is the spread, or what is the stride? It's difficult to tell again. There's two sets of tracks. For most of this trackway, I was convinced that it was headed in one direction, then came back and went the other. That's too difficult to tell which direction was first, of course, but and then later on, coming up at a certain point here, I got the idea that perhaps it wasn't one creature walking in the same direction. There's my foot inside one of these prints. That's how big it's gotten. So again, it's really tough to tell exactly how big these things were to begin with the sun beating down on them and evaporating the water out of the snow, and what with the rain we had a few days ago. But at any rate, I developed the idea that perhaps it wasn't one being going in opposite directions, but two beings, and one of the beings was trying to follow in his footsteps, not very successfully, so the one that was in front of it. The reason for this is because in certain points, especially where I'm going here, there appeared to be a stride of approximately 36 to 48 inches, which is not as big a stride as I have seen some trackways during the summer months when I found tracks going through mud. There's a lot of different reasons for that. It could be this one is smaller than the others that made the other trackways that I've seen, but it's really hard to tell. But again, I'm going to guesstimate here without being able to tell for certain where the heels are and all that, the other part of the foot anatomy. I'm going to guess that the stride was anywhere from 36 to 48 inches, and it wasn't very buried somewhat. It's a coyote print right there that stepped inside of another print. It is what it appears to be, but that just goes to show you how big a print can grow during the time when the sun beats on the snow and evaporates, and that's why I'm having a hard time with this track. Again, I'm not definitively stating it's one thing or another here. I'm just sharing it because it's incredibly interesting. And coming up here, you can barely see the start here in the distance of some ice, and this creature walked right through there. You can see where it sunk through the ice, and it didn't bother going to the inside of the road. It just walked right through it. Didn't bother it at all. There's the footprints there. There's no tracks to the other, one side or the other of this trackway through the ice. Here you can see where the footsteps went right through it. And there are some pretty clear indications that it's kind of a humanoid type of print. There's a good shot there of it frozen over.
Let's see where it looks like footprints there, going in both directions. I'll take a couple of still pictures here. This is a squirrel track. Normally this time of year the squirrels are quiet, but right now it's in the low 40s, so this is kind of strange. Almost as if whatever it was that was walking here might have turned around. Let's see if there was something falling on him.
It was at this point in the game that I began to develop the idea that maybe this wasn't one being walking in two directions over the same pathway. I got the idea that possibly this was actually two individuals, and at that point of the trailway, one individual, the one in the lead, turned around to see if the other one was following close behind or further behind, or maybe there was some reason that they thought there was some danger behind them, and they turned around because, as you can see here, the tracks at this point, right about where I'm standing now, look like they were turned slightly to the side, as your tracks would do if you would turned to look over your shoulder. Normally with a human being, what would happen is you would simply turn your head and look out of the corner of your eye. But if you have a large pack on, or if you have a neck that does not allow you to turn your full neck and head around, then you actually have to stop or slow down and turn your upper body to see that aspect of what is behind you. So again, I want to caution you that I'm not saying anything definitive here with this little excursion along the trackway, but it certainly does look rather strange, especially knowing the fact that this creature walked right through the water, and especially coming up here, and you're going to see in just a moment, and I apologize in advance for the foul language that I used, but I was rather surprised when I plopped right down through the ice, but went up to about the top of my boots, so underneath that ice is about 6 inches or so of water, and yes, it was very cold, but that's the way it is. Fortunately, I'm smart enough to carry extra socks with me in my lifetime. That's neither here nor there for the story, but again, you can see whatever this was, it walked right through there, right through the ice water, as if it wasn't even there. We'll get back to the trackway here, and see if you can come to your own conclusion as to what this might be. And again, I'm not saying anything definitive here, but it does look very suspicious. And it looks more suspicious as the trail goes on.
It is. Let's go here. Doesn't seem to be afraid of walking through water. It's frozen. One halfway through.
And we're coming up to the end of our little excursion for the day here. I did a lot more exploring that day too. I spent another 2-3 hours out there, just poking around and seeing some things. But this particular pathway, this is at the far end of it. There was a bunch of nothing but tracks in between where I left off just a second ago and where I'm at here. And the trail ends up heading down over the embankment onto the ice. Where it goes after that, I had no way of knowing. There were no tracks showing on the ice, so whatever it was simply took off over the ice and headed either west up the stream or east down the stream. Can't really tell for sure which way they went again, but this is a pathway that doesn't seem to have any other start or ending other than the stream. So, again, I'm not definitively saying anything here. You can come to your own conclusions if you want to. But this is definitely one strange trackway in the snow. Rather large appearing feet, which again, footprints in the snow tend to grow, so we can't really tell for sure how big the original prints were. But the prints head down over the pathway and right down over the bank here and onto the ice. So you can come to your own conclusions again. Hope you enjoyed this little time here with Bigfoot Tales, and we hope you tune in again for our next episode. And until then, happy squatching, and don't forget there's more than Bigfoot in the woods.